channel. If we haven't met, my name is Audrey from teacheraudrey123.com, and on this channel you will find videos about teaching English online, creating a simple life, and inspiration to keep on keeping on. In today's video, I am going to share with you the I do, we do, you do method. This is a method that helps build on the knowledge and content that the students is learning, and the goal is that by the end of the lesson that the student is able to perform the task and objectives independently. So the I do, we do, you do is the same thing as gradual release. And be sure to stay tuned until the end of the video, because I am going to share with you how you take the I do, we do, you do and apply it to the VIPKid teaching slides, and to know what approach you're supposed to do on each slide. So to start off, the I do, we do, you do is the same thing as gradual release. This is like when a child is learning to ride a bike. You give them the training wheels and you're holding on to them and are near them, giving them the support and actually doing a lot of the work for them. Then you will take off the training wheels and you won't be holding the bike as much. And then finally you will take the hands off the bike and let the student go. So let's talk about this with teaching ESL online. So the first thing you want to do is to be sure that the student knows what they're expected to do. So that would be the I do. So on the I do, you are modeling and talking through what you're doing. For example, if the student is learning the word mouse, you could go mouse. Circle the word mouse. I see a mouse. Good job. Then the we do. This is when you are giving the student a chance to see what they know, but you're still supporting them. So you could go, I see a, yes, mouse. I see a mouse. Then the last section is the you do. This is the time that the student shows off what he or she has learned during the lesson. So you could hold up the mouse and say, what do you see? Yes, good sentence. Or if they just say the mouse, you would support them and say, I see a mouse, to elicit a full sentence. So another thing to remember on the I do, we do, you do is you will be taking your hands off depending on how fast or how slow the student is learning the material. And in our next video, we will be discussing how to scaffold in our classes, so we're creating a child-centered learning environment that sets the student up to succeed and continue to learn and not be a stressful environment. But until then, let's continue on with the I do, we do, you do. Another important tip to remember is when you are doing a slide and the student is to perform, say the students are supposed to fill in the blanks and drag and drop, you would model on the first question. You could use a puppet or you could underline to show what you're doing. Then you would prompt the student to do the second one, and you would decide if you needed to do it together. You could read and then wait and let the student fill in the word and then continue to read. And then by the end of the slide, or the last few on the page, you want the student to do it independently. So just think about the gradual release, and eventually you want the student to be able to do it by their self. Now, in the comments below, let me know if what your biggest teaching challenge is. Is it pacing? Is it student engagement? Is it meeting the objectives? What is that one thing that you want to improve on as a teacher? Okay, so if you've been wondering how to know exactly how to meet the objectives without always having to go back to the beginning of all the slides, VIPKid has actually made it very easy for you to know what you need to teach and what level you should be at in general with your student. In the upper right hand corner of the slides, you will find a letter that's either I, P, A, E, or D with a topic beside it. And the topics are vocabulary, math, phonics, grammar, and high frequency words. And so each of the letters has a different level of and type of objective for the slides. So if you've taken the mock class or you've gotten bad feedback that said that you didn't meet the course's objective, you can go back and see if you approached the slides in the proper way. So with no further ado, let's talk about the I.P.A.E.D. First, the I, introduce. You want to introduce the concept. VIPKid expects the teacher, when they're introducing the new concept, to do the main word in isolation. So if this is the vocabulary word jar, you're going to repeat the word jar twice. If it is a phonics sound and rhyme, you're going to do each sound in isolation and the rhyme and do that twice. So for example, if the rhyme you're teaching is ip, you would go circle it, ip, 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 ip. P. The second word is practice. Practice. So on these slides with the P, you are practicing the objective, practicing the concept being learned. And so you will have typically like a drag and drop or matching, and you will model the first one for the student and then encourage them to do as much as they can on their own. You will offer the support as needed, and you really want to hone in to the concept being focused on, because this will set them up to the apply section. So you don't want to always be doing phonic sounds or something if you're really wanting them to learn a word in a sentence. Now don't get me wrong, you do want to make the corrections, but the way and the emphasis of how you present the correction is made in a little different way. So you're making sure that you're driving home the focus of the lesson. A. A is for apply. On the A slides, the student is expected to apply what they have learned, and typically this is used by them reading and matching pictures, or you asking them a question and them doing it on the slide and giving the output that is needed. Now, of course, you are going to offer support if it is needed. But your goal is to, at this point, let go, show, and apply what they've learned in this situation. E. Extend. On these slides, you are extending. You are either asking questions and practicing what you've learned and strengthening the concepts that you have previously taught, or if those concepts have been mastered, you are able to put a twist on the content and teach them either a new word or ask them a question in a different way, or review material from previous lessons to see if they remember, or ask them new things that you know are coming up to kind of test their knowledge to see if they're ready for the next concept. And so the extend is more like conversation. And of course, this is going to look different depending on the age level and the English ability of the student. But you want to ask questions to get the student to speak and apply what they've learned during that present class, but then also in previous lessons. D. Demonstrate. Demonstrate. So the D slide is demonstrate. The student will demonstrate what they have learned during lesson 6 and lesson 12. These are the unit assessments, and these assessments assess the students' knowledge of what they've learned up to this point in the lesson. And so you are able to see what concepts they've mastered and what they need to continue to work on. When you start out, you really are just kind of laying it out and seeing what they can give you. And then it is important, though, if they're stuck or doing a lot of wrong answers, that you go back and do the we do and the practice together so that they can continue to build on their knowledge and eventually master the concept. And in my next video, we're going to talk about scaffolding and just the realization that within each lesson, you have the objectives you're hitting on, but the reality is not all of our students meet all those objectives. Some of them, we stay in the practice stage for a while, and then eventually they take off, and then we can adjust as they go. But like I said, we will talk more about that in our next video. So remember to do the I.P.A.E.D in your classes. This is a really good tool to use to help you know quickly how you're going to teach a slide, and if you're going to do something in isolation and repeat, if you're going to offer support and give them a chance to add more input, or if you're stepping back and letting them take off and show you what they know. Remember to use this in your mock interview, or if you're just struggling on getting a good flow in your classes, be sure to use this teaching method, because it will help you stand out as a teacher and to have a structure to your teaching and help you to explain to the parents how you did each step. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you come join our community if you haven't already. In the comments below, let me know what your biggest teaching challenge is. Is it pacing? Is it student engagement? Is it meeting the objectives? What is that one thing that you want to improve on as a teacher? Let me know in the comments. Thanks again, and it was a joy to talk to you. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.